to stay with that suffering
Of course.
is what is needed, right?
What is needed.
And you see, generally our whole tradition is that we should not stay with suffering, we should find a way out of it, you see.
Yes, quite.
And seek happiness. And see that is something which perhaps also could be compared, see the similarity and difference. Say the Christians have emphasized the importance of suffering, but there are probably some important differences.
Yes.
I don't quite understand the Christian doctrine on suffering, but
I know.
it seems that they regard it as necessary too, you see, but not in exactly the same way.
What exactly is the Christian doctrine of
Well, the only thing I can gather from it is that Jesus Christ, saved mankind through his suffering, you see.
Well, how can somebody save me from my... What?
Well, I don't know. Let me try to put it the way I think what it means, you see. What I think it means is that, first of all, that he being essentially free of it, faced all this pain, right, and without running away from it, and that in doing that,
he has shown me
not
the way
exactly.
To do it.
That's in a way. Some people say that you must live in the imitation of Christ, or in the. I probably have missed some of it, but.
Quite right.
No, but
it is too slick. No.
But anyway, it seems that people. I've talked to many people who felt very deeply, at least, that Christ had suffered to save them. And
save me from what?
From sin, from whatever it is, from the state of man which we've just been discussing, from this wrong state of evil.
That's what I'm. You see the truth, and you are that.
Mm.
You convey it to me, and with that, if I can remain with that, without any movement.
Yes, I mean, I see it's very different from the Christian doctrine,
yes,
you see, but it's important to at least try to make it clear, because, you see, there are some superficial similarities in saying both are emphasizing the importance of suffering, but in some sense...
Has Christian idea of sin got anything to do with it?
Well, it's not clear, you see, what is meant by sin in Christian doctrine, but they may say sin was the cause of this suffering.
Yes.
And it's not clear what is meant exactly by sin, but they would say the original sin was Adam, probably. And
meeting Eve.
Well,
sex.
Well, eating the apple, I don't know.
Yes. Knowledge.
But now, beyond that, I don't...
First you invent sin, and then somebody else comes along and saves you from that sin.
Well, you could say sin was the willful... or some kind of going away from the right, from the correct action, and therefore man suffers, and then man had no way out of that suffering.
Just did quite.
And then Christ came to redeem man. It was only when Christ came that there was a way out. You see, that's what I understand by what's said.
Yes.
I can't say that I understand it deeply, but. I think one can see that there are, very important points of difference. They're very basic.
Basic, correct.
Now, because you see, what you're saying is that by staying with suffering.
Yes, that's right.
Now you see, but you see the similarity I was trying to get in mind. You see, you are saying that you were in a special role, not because you're a special individual, but merely you came first, in a sense.
Yes, that's right.
And you communicate a certain point. One of the points you communicate is the importance of staying with suffering, you see.
Yes.
Now, they say Christ also, he came, at a certain point in time, and he was able to communicate his nature, let's say, to the people. Now, that's the similarity. And see, the difference is we don't know exactly what Christ said or whether, in fact, he lived, but perhaps he did. But at least from what's written, which may be very different, it seems that people was not made very clear the importance of staying with suffering. You see, that is, in some way, the idea has gotten across that merely by going through suffering, you are improved.
You improved.
But it may be that some of the early people saw this point and it has been lost. I don't know.